What's going on, everybody? This is Davey from the 80s, and you are here at GBA Reviews, also known as the good, the bad, and the atrocious. I will be reviewing a movie today called Mayhem. I believe that this movie is from 2017. Let me just make sure. Yes, it is. All right, so this movie is starring the guy that plays Glenn in Walking Dead. Also, Samara Weaving, who's the lady from Ready or Not. So essentially, let me give you a backstory. All right, so this movie is basically about the backdrop of this. The movie is that there's a virus, and this virus makes people hostile and aggressive, right? And that's the backdrop of the story. So you know that this virus exists, right? So then we have the actual story, which is the guy that plays Glenn, Steven. He works in an office building, and he's this hard worker. He does everything he needs to do, and he's climbing up the corporate ranks, right? He's climbing up that corporate ladder, and eventually he gets screwed and fired, like, unjustly, right? And I'm not spoiling the movie. This is actually in the little synopsis for the film, right? So it's not like it's not like I'm spoiling anything. It's literally in the movie synopsis, like the summary, right? Or whatever it tells you about what the movie's about, right? So he's having a bad day, and all of a sudden, the office building that he's working in gets quarantined because of that virus that makes everybody aggressive has been presented there, right? So somebody in the building is infected with the virus, and this intel makes the whole building get shut down and quarantined. They can't leave the building. There's people outside waiting with guns. You can't leave, right? And they have to wait there, I think, a total of a certain amount of hours before they can leave because they've released some sort of like antidote in the air, right? So you have a virus that makes people overly aggressive. You have a young man that's upset because he just got fired. You do the math. What's probably going to happen? All right, so what do I like about this movie? Let's talk about the good. The good in this movie. The way that it was filmed is really amazing. Glenn also did a pretty good job as well. Not Glenn, but, you know, Steven, the guy that plays Glenn from Walking Dead. I cannot unsee him as Glenn. I'm sorry. All right, so he does a pretty good job in this movie. He's a very believable character. He does what he's supposed to do, right? Then we have what else is good in this movie? Also, the cinematics, the cinematography, right? The way that it's filmed is pretty awesome. It's kind of bright. It's kind of vibrant. The blood splatter and things like that. Because this is kind of like a gory, kind of action-y horror kind of movie in a way, right? So we have that, the cinematography, the way that it's filmed. The way that it's filmed is nice. The shots, the fight sequences and things like that. The creativity that they use with some of the objects in this movie in order to fight and kill is pretty cool. What else? The gore. There's a little bit of gore in this movie. There's some blood splatter. That's pretty cool. I enjoyed that a lot, right? So then let's talk about the bad. The stuff that's might not be good, but at the same time is not to the point where it's going to ruin the movie. All right. The thing that's bad to me is the idea of the virus. The virus that makes people aggressive isn't something that hasn't been heard of before, right? I think this was in that one Samuel L. Jackson movie with the British dudes. What's the name of that movie? What is the name of that movie with the British spies? Anyway, it'll come to me later. But so that movie had that virus that Samuel L. Jackson was trying to give people in order that made them highly aggressive, right? That idea has been used before, right? So it's not unheard of. So me, that's something bad, but it's not something that's going to ruin the movie for me, right? Another bad thing, let's see. The acting in this movie is okay. It's not something like over the top. People aren't really like trying to act their hearts out. It's not one of those type of movies. It's not a movie that's supposed to like knock you off your seat with its acting, right? It's just kind of a movie that's supposed to keep you entertained, right? that's one of the key components of the movie that's all right. Now, let's talk about the atrocious thing, the unforgivable, the ultimate sin, the unforgivable sin, right? What is it? Samara Weaving. I don't like her in this movie. She annoys me. Ever since Margot Robbie came out with Harlequin, I swear every woman that wants to act crazy tries to mimic her, and it drives me crazy. I don't like it. I don't like how everybody wants to be like this little giddy psychopathic person. Like, it annoys me. Like, it bothers me. Like, they did it in Three from Hell. Rob Zombie's wife was trying to act all crazy. That was annoying. Samara Weaving's trying to do it in this movie. It's annoying. I don't like movies where people try to come off as like this happy-go-lucky psychopath. It's annoying. It's starting to get really annoying and played out, right? I don't like it, right? So there's that. And then what else do I like about the movie? This movie isn't all that it's hyped up to be. Like, everybody thought it was going to be like this nonstop action-packed, just like shot of adrenaline from beginning to end, and it's not. It's like it has some story building. There's some action. There's a plot, and then some more action, and then it's like sequences, right? It's not like nonstop bull rush to the end, right? To me, if I have to give this movie a grade, it's probably out of a 5. It's probably going to get a 2. This movie was all right. It's something that you watch. You can watch it and enjoy it. It's okay, but it's not something that I'm going to probably watch again. It's definitely not something I'm going to buy. But this movie, it had a lot of hype behind it in sort of like communities, like horror communities and things like that. So a lot of people hype this movie up, so I had really high expectations from it. Also, this is like one of those top movies on Shudder like things, right? Because Shudder, this is where I've seen the movie on. I've seen it on Shudder. So if you guys want like a free 7-day trial, you get that from Shudder. But there's also better movies that I'm probably going to recommend you from Shudder. So you might want to wait on that 7-day trial until I get to that movie. This movie was like kind of like it was kind of average or below average. You watch it, it entertains you for the small moments that it does, but then at the end it's like you kind of feel like unsatisfied. Like, if I paid for this movie, I would probably want my money back. Right? Like, or if I bought this movie, I'll be kind of mad and trying to find a way to either sell it to somebody or try to find a way to return it, because it just wasn't that kind of movie, right? This movie, honestly, so I said I have a scale of 5. It gets a 2. I'm only going to give it a 2. Not a great movie. Samara Weaving is annoying. If she keeps getting typecasted in this character of this like badass female, is going to get played out soon. Glenn from The Walking Dead did a pretty good job. The rest of the cast in the movie was all right. It wasn't anybody that stood out to me that was like, oh my God, this person did an amazing job. They stole the screen whenever they were on the screen. Not really. The only thing that stole, that kind of like got my attention was the fact that some of the action sequences were pretty cool, right? But it wasn't enough to keep me fully engaged in the movie to the point where I'm like, oh man, this is a have to watch movie, right? So if you guys want to watch this movie, you guys can go ahead and get a 7-day trial of Shudder and go ahead and watch it. I honestly have better movies that you guys should watch. Downrange. You could watch that instead. But this movie, honestly, it didn't do it for me. It wasn't that great. It kind of was like below mediocre, right? So I am Davey from the 80s, and this was GBA Reviews, the good, the bad, and atrocious, and I will see you soon. Adios.